Hello there, and welcome to another edition of the Critical Minds on Union Television. I am Onini Eslofo, your host, and with me it's Philip Nkwang. Hi, Philip.
Hi, nice to have me here.
Thank you for coming. We're going to be talking about the impact of AI on
Okay.
youth development, and we have Philip who will be educating us and be exposing us to the many opportunities and also feeding us and with knowledge about AI operations and other things I wouldn't be able to say now because I want you to stay on this program and learn. First off, I'd like you to meet Philip Nkwam. Okay, Philip Nkwam is a software engineer and trainer at the Bulb Africa. He has trained a lot of people under Mentor Quello, Carol OI, Data Plus, and he's also the CEO of Lava. He has worked a part of tech and he has every information you need about AI. I wouldn't be saying much because I want you to learn. And if you have questions, of course, you can ask because this is the moment you've been waiting for when you can let out your mind on AI. Is it good? Is it bad? Are there myths around it? We're here for you. So after this break, we'll be coming back with all the information you need. Don't go anywhere. This is Union Television, and I am Onini Eslo for Stay with us. Right, welcome back to the Critical Minds on Union Television. We're still talking about the impact of AI on youth development, and AI is artificial intelligence. I am Onini Eslofo, your host, and with me in the studio is Philip Okwam.
Thank you for having me.
He's going to be talking about artificial intelligence. So assistive technology would help you manage and handle tasks better than you would before. Doesn't it sound like promoting a culture of laziness?
So whenever you want to have a discourse around this, laziness and stuff, promoting laziness, one thing I tell people is to always think in retrospect, look back through the ages, right? Having a car, did it make you lazy?
Mm-hmm. It made a lot of people gain weight.
But then it made you arrive to your destination faster.
If they were working, they would have burned a lot of calories. They would even be more fit
But then
and get to their destination still.
outrightly, it depends on your priority. Is your priority to get fit or your priority to get to where you want to get to on time?
Both of them. So,
If
you cannot be doing something and getting lazy and adding weight and still be getting there all the time. So what if you gain so much weight that you won't be even fit to do what you came there to do?
Mhm.
So you're there on time, but then the goal is not being achieved.
But that's relative. That's not to say that because you are not naturally trekking somewhere, you have to gain weight. It's not a direct impact of
Okay.
driving compared to trekking, right? Now, um, when you look back, let's say back into the 60s, right? There's something we call the people we call data entry operators,
Okay.
right, or clerical staffs. And so you see this big book where they
Like the
have to
clerk
use,
we know.
yes.
Okay.
And so you see this big book where they have to write records with pen and paper, tons of records like that, and those books piled down. And then with time, they get spoiled and stuff. Poor record management.
But we have good bookkeeping systems.
Exactly. That's what we're getting to. Bookkeeping systems that were not particularly artificial intelligence, but they were technical tools. They were digital tools. Excel, spreadsheets
Okay.
that would help you manage all of these records very well, right? So when you look in retrospect, how has human humans evolved with technology? It's the same way humans are evolving with technology with artificial intelligence. And it's quite understandable that there is a little scare. And the reason is because there is a fast space going on at the moment. When you look at the gap in innovation through the ages, you realize that we've had so much in a short time, right? And the reason is because we have, as humans, we're expected to evolve, right, in the way we manage tasks, the way we handle certain processes. Now, it's pivotal and important that we cannot do the same things anymore with the existing tools we have. We have much more complex tasks already.
Why do you
And
think
so,
so?
yeah, because when it comes to data gathering, humans are processing lots of data every day. And so we are getting closer to a place where we need much more sophisticated tools to manage our day-to-day activities better.
I think the tools that are coming out are even making it more sophisticated because what we're doing before, it's not really different from what we're doing now. But it's just that when this particular thing comes up and people are trying to understand what it is, another one is coming out and it's becoming more complex because we don't have a hang on this one and we have this new one to learn and there's another one to learn. And then the machine is moving faster than we are moving. So how do we come up to speed?
We are the one building the machines. So the
That's the
machines are not
problem,
moving
right?
faster than us.
Okay, few persons are building the machines and then they are making some people look duller than others.
So like it's never their fault that they had good educational systems.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's
So
actually the fault of people who do not have good
it
education
is the
system.
fault of people who do not have standard educational systems because you are many times we see majority of this perspective comes from Africans, right? Majority. When you go to the West, you find only few people talk about the this thing you're talking about. And so
Okay.
for us here, we've had lots of backlogs when it comes to catching up with inventions, innovations, right? So it's not their fault. They've been when we talk about artificial intelligence, it has been existing since, not now. We only had much more sophisticated, they call them ANIs, artificial narrow intelligence, and we are gearing towards AGIs, artificial general intelligence.
You know, we
So
don't
it
even
has been
understand
existing.
what the narrow intelligence is, and we are getting towards another one. Exactly what I'm talking about.
So what artificial narrow intelligence means is when you get an AI model or a computer to do a specific task. So the reason why it's called narrow is because it has constraints to do a particular task. So you have Alexa, you have Siri, where you can tell Siri. Siri is not outrightly intelligent, right? But Siri can take specific task for you, right? You can't tell Siri to do the exact thing ChatGPT will do for you, right? Because it's a form of narrow intelligence, so it's
I think
restrained in
ChatGPT is even
constraints.
more popular than Siri.
There are two different things entirely,
Mm-hmm.
right? There are two different things with two different purposes. ChatGPT is called a language learning model, right? Where GPT, in and of itself, basically takes a chunk of your data, right? Whatever data you ingest into it, and then makes sense out of it, makes informed decision out of it. All right. So the reason is because we have lots of data at the moment, and data is power, right? Data shows us lots of things about you. Data helps you discover what you do not know about yourself. Do you understand? And
How?
so, very good. A very simple scenario is why do you have your medical history?
Why do I have medical history?
Yeah.
So I'll get to know me more.
So basically, it's something similar to that.
So
You
is
have your
data
medical,
medical history?
yeah,
It,
data is simply unprocessed information,
okay.
right? So you have your medical history. The doctor uses your medical history to ascertain what is wrong with you. Even if you're coming up with new symptoms, it can tell from your medical history that this is what happened and stuff. It's the same thing in healthcare, right? It's the same thing across all domains, insurance, all domains, right? That we're deploying artificial intelligence models now. So we use these things to actually make much more informed decision, and not just make informed decision. This AI models can actually help us know what next steps to take,
I
right?
think that's where my challenge comes from.
Okay.
So when we say we use data to make informed decision,
Yeah.
I have to consent on that. So first, we're talking about medical history.
Yeah.
Now, if I have a medical history, I have medical history because I have used hospital facilities.
Yeah.
Where are people who do not go to the hospital?
And that's the problem. There are several factors. There are several factors in place when we talk about data gathering. And I want you to see it from a perspective, from a world view, and not just limited to our own demographics.
It's not about demographic now, but everybody should be brought up to peace.
Yeah, it's not, everybody cannot be brought up to peace part-time. That's the truth of it, right? Based on your demographics. The reason why, for example, in Nigeria here, we cannot deploy certain models, we cannot deploy AI into some of our workflows is because we do not have the data to make that informed decision. So before building any AI model, you have to go through a proper data gathering process, and it depends on your existing system, right? For example, one of the very difficult experience I've had doing AI researches in this space, specifically in the field of medical imaging. So there's this model we worked on.
So when you say medical imaging, what do you mean?
Medical imaging talk about your mammogram, your CT scan, basically. So we were working on what we call a breast cancer risk assessment algorithm.
Okay.
And to tell you the positive effect of it, in Nigeria here, you rarely find people who take breast cancer checkups very seriously, right? So basically, this model basically takes any mammogram you do, right, and can return a probability score of that person developing cancer in the next 5 years. And so you can actually see, and it's been proven to work at MIT. You can actually see that there was a particular case study where there was a woman who had a very, it looked clear. The mammogram looked clear. It wasn't, she had no symptom per se. But then, as soon as we passed, the mammogram was passed through the algorithm, we returned the probability score, and we could see that, they could see that she had a tendency of developing cancer, like in the next 2 to 3 years, right? And by the time she did a biopsy, they saw traces of that. And to tell you that there is so much AI has to do in our workflows currently, but there's one very important thing I'd like to cite out. You need to, before you can actually leverage any technology, right? You need to be optimistic about it first. You cannot leverage any technology or learn from it if you're not optimistic about it. And I tell you as a fact that many people have negative perception towards it because of the media, because of what they hear. If you can zoom out
away.
If you can zoom out of the media, of the negativity around it, and patiently look into what people are building, you realize that they offer so much benefit. And the problem with negativity around technical tools is actually a product of personal actions. Personal actions. When you look through abuses on social media, for example, Facebook or YouTube, they provide these tools for lots of positive things, right? They never have any negative thing in mind, no negative feature in mind. But because of people's personal bias and actions, people's wicked actions, people's negative mindset, they bring all of this into those platforms, right? And there is so much they can do. So I do believe that the negativity around tech, around artificial intelligence, is a product of personal actions and personal motive, and not about the tools themselves. Responsible AI is what we call a, how do I describe it? It's an action taken in the direction of the builders, developers, people who are building the product, not in the path of the users, right? Responsible AI, ethics set up to protect the users. Okay, so they want to ensure that whatever they're building, whatever product they're deploying, they ensure that there are proper actions, options, rules guiding that product that would protect the user from harm or gives the user autonomy over whatever they want to do or whatever they want to see. That's what we call responsible AI. So it's basically what comes after AI development. So I build a product until I deploy into the market, and then I know how people are, the negativity around it, right? And then you can now make appropriate rules and regulations, add features to the product that will make people have autonomy and guide them, protect them from terrible usage or harmful usage from another person.
So do you think AI is having positive impacts on the youth.
Very good. Very, very good. In Nigeria, one of the problems we've experienced is, and truth be told, when you look at our learning system, it's not properly optimized.
What kind of learning? Classroom learning?
Classroom learning. So you find out there
At
are
what level?
at
Primary
every
school?
level, primary school, secondary school. You look at China, the reason why you have lots of people turning out smart is because they use artificial intelligence to assess the learning progress of their kids, right? So you can easily figure out why this kid is not learning efficiently well, the right solution to use towards this kid's development. You don't have, because we are pessimistic, you don't have anything like that here, right? So you think if a child is not, if a child is not catching up with a particular concept you're teaching, the next thing is to deal with that child or flog that child, any of those things. But you're not probing into the inner progress of that child or the difficulty, the learning difficulty the child might be having. And to tell you the truth, I'll be much more practical in the case of children. Whatever they are doing or going through is not their fault. Learning difficulties are never their fault. But how do you fix them, right? If you don't have certain efficient tools to fix them, it affects their overall performance
that's
and it
wh-
spirals into other parts of
That's
their
what the
life.
challenge is, because learning difficulty is not a child's fault. But then when you're using AI to teach a child, how do you even
No,
understand?
you're not using AI to teach a child.
Okay, what are you using it
You're
for?
using AI to get metrics from the child. Metrics means you are looking at the child's performance. You're looking at the child's interactions with the studies, and you can make an informed decision from that. That's
Okay.
basically what it means.
So how am I supposed to do this? I have a child I'm teaching in class, and then the child is going to record performance on AI or with a particular tool.
Okay, very good. I do believe I don't know, you've seen some videos about how the conventional classroom learning, right? So you see cases where students wear a particular gear in class, and it basically takes record of their attention span, their basically their activities. For example, you give them particular work to do, it takes record of all of the metrics of the activities going on at that point in time. How a child is so focused, how a child is, the brain, all of the things going on in the child's brain, right? All of the things going on. And with all of these things, all of this data together, when the child is working in class, it doesn't mean the teacher is there 24/7 looking at that child, because you have so many children you're looking at. But you can have a personalized tool for that child, taking records of every metric going on with that child at a particular moment.
Welcome back to the Critical Minds and Union Television. I am Onyinye Eslefo, your host. It's really been an insightful session. We've heard a lot about artificial intelligence and how it works, while Philip is trying to make us understand that we all need AI and we need to learn and be up to speed because it keeps evolving. I am also trying to make us understand that we need to understand what we're getting into so we don't go into it blindly. Thank you for being with us up until this time. We know you have your concerns, and yes, we want to hear it. So leave your concerns in the comments. I'll be watching and we'll be giving you response. However, we are running out of time, and for that reason, we're going to be drawing this session to a close. But that doesn't mean this episode has ended. We'll be coming back with a part 2 of this discussion because there is still a lot to talk about and you need to know more. I am Onyinye Eslofo, your host, and it's the Critical Minds on Union Television. Stay with us next week as we bring you more on the impact of artificial intelligence on youth development on Union Television. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us across all our social media platforms. Until I see you again, keep watching Union Television.